Good morning, friends. Welcome to pre-market update. As we all know, yesterday Nifty was 0.6% higher and Sensex was also 0.6% higher. As we know that yesterday was a surprise move by RBI in their monetary policy by cutting 50 basis point interest rates, repo rates. So that was a very big surprise move. Whereas markets were, Nifty was around 100 plus points higher. But overall, at the ending session, it came down and settled at 0.6%. Whereas if you see European markets, DAX and CAC was around 0.3% lower, and FTSE was also 0.8% lower. If you look at the US Qs was mixed. Dow was 0.3% lower, whereas Nasdaq was higher. So, and in terms of the FII and DII numbers, FII sold in the cash segment in Indian equities of 1100 crores, whereas they sold in index futures of around 500 crores, whereas DII was again being a big respect to Indian equities, they were a positive of 876 crores. Looking at the current SGX Nifty, it is positive 25 points, so we are expecting a positive move in the market, in the opening of Indian equity markets. But overall, if you look at the outlook, like the way unprecedented move by RBI was very strong enough in terms of cutting 50 basis point, giving the indication of growth being the first preference for RBI. So inflation is completely under control, and expecting inflation of the FY17 targets are also around 5%, 4.8%. So this is something very positive for Indian equities, and subsequently Indian banks also started cutting rates, like SBI had cut 40 basis point. Likewise, other PSU banks are also following suit. So this is what the situation is, and we feel that Indian equities in terms of long-term perspective is quite positive. So we'll look out for today's opening, as we are seeing SGX has positive 25 points, and we'll keep check on the markets.
Good morning, friends. I will give analysis on derivatives. Yesterday, with negative cues from the international markets, back home our market also opened with a negative bias, that is on the gap down opening of around 60-70 odd points, and thereon it continued to remain under selling pressure ahead of the RBI policy. But post the surprise of the RBI of 50 basis point rate cut boosted the market sentiments, and thereon we have seen Nifty showing a significant amount of bounce, and was not only able to go past the positive territory, but also managed to post a decent gain. And eventually, with the help of the banking stocks gain, Nifty managed to close 0.64% higher at 7875.85. Now, on the open interest terms, we have seen an addition of around 2%, and the cost of carry also increased from 4.5% to 5%. The Nifty premium did came up from around 27-28 odd points to 32 odd points, indicating some kind of long build-up was seen by market participants in yesterday's trade. However, the interesting observation on the Bank Nifty, which has seen a heavy pile-off of open interest of around 16%, which was quite huge, and also Bank Nifty, and due to the favorable event in the yesterday's trading session. So long position seen in Bank Nifty, which could further boost the market sentiments in today's trading session also. While put call ratio have been only 1 basis point higher from 0.90 to 0.91, and volatility index have more or less been same. Post the event, we have seen some kind of cool off in the volatility index, which decreased by around 0.5% from 21.67 to 21.57 levels. Now, the options activity, still we are seeing significant amount of heavy pileup of open interest in the call option, that is 7,900, 8,000, 8,200 call option still sees an addition of anywhere around 20 to 30% respectively, which is not a good sign for a market. So eventually seeing the options data, where the put option have also seen an addition of 7,800 post the gap down opening. We have seen the put option have seen some kind of 7,800 put option have seen an unwinding, but due to a late recovery, we have seen a minor addition of around 1%. 7,500 strike price, which is the highest in terms of open interest, has seen an addition of around 11%. So seeing the options data and also the activity in derivatives and open interest, we feel that market Nifty as par can consolidate this level, where Bank Nifty is the counter which should be looked for in the next couple of trading sessions. If Bank Nifty is able to hold on its gains and is able to capitalize on the long position which has been seen in the yesterday's trading session, where we might see Nifty also gripping higher in coming trading sessions. So all eyes will be on the Bank Nifty for the next 2 trading sessions to be watched out for. There are no securities in the bank period for today's trade. On FIS terms and index futures, now surprisingly, despite the favorable outcome, FIs have been net sellers both in index futures and also in the cash market segment. Cash market, they were net sellers of heavy of around 1,200 odd crores. And index futures also, they were net sellers by around 520 odd crores. That net selling was mainly due to the long unwinding which was seen by them. Which is a negative sign. However, since last 2 to 3 trading sessions, the most part of the activity has been under the index options. Index options, they continue to be net buyers, and yesterday's trade they were net buyers by around 3,600 crores, which is quite huge. And stock futures, they were net buyers of 135 crores, while stock options, they were net buyers of 16 crores only. For our 5 days, we have stands at 7840 with a lower range at 7840. So again, a VWAP level of 7840 would be quite crucial since FIs have been on the selling part. So VWAP, a break below a VWAP can see some kind of more selling pressure in the market. So VWAP level of 7840 would be crucial. Market participants can go long, keeping a stop anywhere near the VWAP that is 7820, 7840. And higher range is currently at 8,000. Zix Nifty is trading positive by around 27 odd points at 7878, giving an indication that some kind of positive opening can be expected in today's trade. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Now let's look at the trading ideas for today. We have Tata Steel at CNP 201, where the steel producers are likely to hike prices up to 1,500 per ton. So this is very positive for Tata Steel. So we are action to be taken is long Tata Steel, stop loss of 195, target is 210 to 218. The next stock is L&T. CNP is 1442. L&T outguns the global rivals to back 5,000 crore Indian Army deal. This is a very strong positive news for L&T, and L&T being the largest EPC player and talks to Indian growth story. So we are expecting action to be taken in long L&T, stop loss of 1414, target 1486 and 1514. The third stock is Eveready Industry at CNP 280. RBI allows FPI to buy up to 49% in Eveready Industries. Action to be taken is long Eveready Industries, stop loss of 274, target 290 to 298. Fourth stock is Blue Star Infotech at CNP 289. Infogain to acquire Blue Star Infotech IT business for rupees 181 crores. Action to be taken is long Blue Star Infotech, stop loss 280, target 300 and 310. Tata Motors, the other one, at CNP 289, Standard & Poor S&P today revised the outlook of Indian-based automaker Tata Motors Limited from positive to stable. So they have downgraded. So this is action to be taken is short Tata Motors, stop loss of 295, target 280 to 270. Now let's look at the news update. NMDC may invest 40,000 crore in 8 years for capacity expansion, plans to reach target of 100 million tons per annum of iron ore production. JP Associate to consider selling 49 megawatt wind power plants today. Clariant, a world leader in specialty chemicals, today entered into the agreement with an intent to acquire a part of Vivimid Labs Limited personal care portfolio. Idea gets shareholder nod to raise up to 10,000 crores. NMDC in talks with Japanese corporates to revive exports. Power Grid Corporation of India completed the construction and started power supply in its first power transmission express highway, or the longest HVDC power transmission corridor connecting northern states with northern eastern region. Bank of India cuts base rate by 25 basis point to 9.70. FIPB on Tuesday cleared 18 foreign investment proposals, including the Aegon Religare Life Insurance and Aditya Birla Nuvo worth about 5,000 crore. However, 5 proposals were deferred and 8 were rejected as per the sources. Suzlon Energy today said it has completed the commissioning of 100.8 megawatt wind power turnkey project for CLP India. Dish TV, Apollo Private Equity to sell 3.6% stake via block deal today. Price range is 103 to 106 per share. India becomes top FDI destination in the world, overtaking US and China. India to allow additional 18.2 billion in foreign purchase of government debt. RBI issues norm on issuance of rupee denominated bond overseas. Now we'll look at the watch list stocks with positive bias and negative bias. Stock with positive bias is Bajaj Finance, Colgate, BHEL. The stocks with negative bias is Dish TV, Arvind Limited, Axis Bank. Now the stocks for investment as we look at is Aditya Birla Nuvo at 2100, IndusInd Bank at 941, Reliance at 840, UPL at 441, LIC Housing Finance at 450. Thank you friends, happy investing.